following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
Welcome into the Sportsocracy, brought to you, as always, by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. This is the 2022 Post-Senior Bowl mock draft for the Indianapolis Colts, one of the few teams in the NFL that does not have a first-round draft pick. After the trade of Carson Wentz last year from the Philadelphia Eagles, their first pick is at number 47, and with that pick, I have them selecting Abraham Lucas, the offensive lineman from Washington State. This is a guy that I think can immediately come in and play left tackle. This can be what the Colts thought Eric Fisher was going to be last year. Comes in, slots in at left tackle, good pass blocker right off the jump. One of the things he needs to work on is being better in the run game. He comes out of a spread offense, played under Mike Leach. Obviously, as the iterations of this offense have continued, the one thing that hasn't changed is its spread. So this is going to be a little bit of a learning curve going into Indianapolis, where they run the ball more. He's not as light on his feet as you would want him to be. He is 6'7", 330, and he doesn't have that dancing bear mentality. He is very much a grinder, hog molly offensive tackle that I think is exactly what the Indianapolis Colts need. With their pick at 82, I have them filling a massive need, in my opinion. Wide receiver Sky Moore out of Western Michigan. This is one of the fastest players in this draft. I have him slated to run somewhere in the low 4.3s. 5'10", $195. He's a little slight. I believe he's going to be a slot receiver in the NFL. With all of the injury issues that have happened with T.Y. Hilton and the emergence of Michael Pittman, they need somebody else that can get open. What I saw a lot on tape towards the end of the year, every team knew Michael Pittman was really the only guy that could kill you. So how do you fix that? You give him a shifty slot receiver and a guy like Sky Moore that's going to get open. No matter what you do, no matter any of the other things, he's going to get open. Level of competition will always be a problem out of a guy that comes from Western Michigan. Not good as a blocker, obviously, being as little as he is. They did this same thing with T.Y. Hilton. Found a guy at a medium-small school, bring him in, and I think Sky Moore could be a starter for them right off the jump. With their next selection, in the fourth round, number 120, I have them selecting Cade Hall. He's an edge out of San Jose State. If this kid weighed about 20 pounds more, I think he would be a higher selection than this. A lot of people are not as high on him as I am because he did have some missed tackles. He's not an elite edge rusher. He's very scheme-specific. The only thing about that is that the scheme he fits so well is Indianapolis. So you will see grades on this kid where, he should go in the 5th round, 6th round. Well, Indianapolis and a slew of other teams, he fits quite nicely what it is that they're looking for. So he has a value to a team like this where he wouldn't have it to another team. He fits nicely in this defense. I like this kid a lot. Some high-level tape from him. It was inconsistent. That's the reason you can get the kid in the 4th round as opposed to the back end of the 2nd, beginning of the 3rd, of which I saw flashes of while he was at San Jose State. 5th round pick number 158, they take a kid that I'm just absolutely drunk on. Not far from here, small school corner, Fayetteville State, Joshua Williams. Last time this school had a player selected in the draft was 1976. Joshua Williams is going to reverse that trend. Long kid, the body type is perfect. He's 6'3", about 200 pounds. I would say he will run somewhere in the high 4.4s to low 4.5s. He doesn't jam particularly well. That's really the only drawback on him that I have that does not include the level of competition. He did play at a D2 school. It's going to be really important to see him through the process at the combine. I think this is his floor. When I got to the point in this mock draft where he fell to the Indianapolis Colts, A, this is one of my favorite picks in this draft. B, this is one of the greatest values in this draft. I could see him going as high as the beginning of the 3rd round. I could see him in the 2nd day with a really good process because there's so much raw ability, and he absolutely dominated the competition at the D2 level. Again, I would be remiss if I didn't point it out again. This is a drastically lower tier of competition, but he was the Ahmad Gardner of D2 football. Do I think he can come in and be an immediate Pro Bowler? No, but I do think he can come in and be an immediate starter. Speaking of immediate starters, with their next selection, I have them taking Balen Spector, linebacker from not far from here at Clemson. This kid kind of got overshadowed in the Clemson defense because he doesn't do anything overly well. He's not crazy fast. The body type is not perfect. He's 6'2", little thin at 230, but he fits, again, in this defense. This is a player that would look really nice next to a Darius Leonard. At worst, he comes in and is an immediate impact on special teams. I think he plays outside. Other people in the industry seem to think he would fit nicer as an interior in a 3-4. I don't see that. The height, weight, speed measurables are not great. Eyes get trapped in the backfield sometimes, but a linebacker in the 5th round, you're going to expect some flaws. I just think Balen Spector's flaws are fixable. With pick number 216 in the 6th round, a kid that had a tremendous appearance in a postseason bowl game, Jelani Woods, tight end out of Virginia. Doesn't offer a ton as a blocker. Not bad. He's not a bad blocker. His hands are bad. Now, in the postseason play, that didn't appear to be a problem. It looked as though he put his best foot forward. The hands were better. He's always been a good route runner. This kid is top 3 best tight ends in this draft among running routes. I can take that. There are a lot of things that tight ends, one of the reasons that the transition to the NFL is so difficult is because it's so much more difficult for a tight end to get open in the NFL. That's not going to be a problem for Jelani Woods. At 6'7", I believe he is, at 260, going to run somewhere in the little high 4.7s, low 4.8s. He's not blindingly fast, but he is incredibly large. If he can figure out the hands and get his hips a little more fluid, this could be a tremendous value in the 6th round at pick 216. Speaking of value, with the 236th selection in the 7th round, the Indianapolis Colts select Jalen Redmond, defensive lineman from Oklahoma. The thing about Jalen Redmond that bothers me and has always bothered me is that I think he fits best on the interior. You will see this kid go as high as the back end of the 3rd round. I don't see that because he's so slight. 6'2", about a 280. I don't think he can play on the outside unless he's in a 3-4. However, inside of a 4-3, next to somebody like, DeForest Buckner, he could be a tremendous impact player. He works himself out of plays a lot. The problem with him is that there is no stop. There's no speed variance. He's always in 5th gear. Sometimes that puts him out of position. Sometimes he can be taken advantage of in the run game. But this is a kid that can absolutely shoot gaps, rush a passer, and getting him in the 6th round would be one of the better value picks in this draft. With their final selection, the Indianapolis Colts at 237 select, also close to here, NC State running back Zonovan Knight. This kid offers virtually nothing in ways of blocker, but what he can do is replace Marlon Mack, Jordan Wilkins, whatever the case may be, as the ancillary piece that runs between the tackles. You've already got a Nyheim Hines that plays on 3rd down, so you don't need that stereotypical 3rd down running back to spell Jonathan Taylor. That's not what this team's after. What they're after is somebody that could take 6 carries a game, 8 carries a game between the tackles to keep some of the workload off of Jonathan Taylor. In a different draft, Zonovan Knight would have been a 4th, 5th round pick. That's how talented the kid is. The difference is that there are a lot of backs in this draft that do 2 things. Whether they can block, they can catch out of the backfield, run between the tackles, run out the tackles. Zonovan Knight does one thing. He runs between the guards, especially between the guards, but between the tackles very, very well. I think he would be a nice spell piece. He would be a nice addition to this team and would keep some of the wear and tear off of Jonathan Taylor. There you have it, the 7-round mock draft post-Senior Bowl for the Indianapolis Colts. This would be a fantastic class and would take some of the burn away of losing your 1st-round pick for Carson Wentz. This gives a lot of tools to him that he can use to make him the best quarterback humanly possible. Be sure to click like and subscribe on this video if you enjoyed this mock draft of your Indianapolis Colts, or if you're a fan of another team, just know your team is coming. Click the subscribe button. You will know every time we go live, including our 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time ESPN Radio show every day, and every time we put out draft content. We will be doing 3 mock drafts. This one after free agency and the day before the NFL draft, April 28th in Las Vegas. We will put out a final mock draft of every player, but these videos will keep you abreast of players that your team is interested in, players that they have seemed to, whether it was talked to at the Senior Bowl or whatever the case may be. This will keep you up to date on guys that your team is interested in. Thank you, as always, for joining us, and we're brought to you by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings.